one of those slides. You were like,
All right, we'll go ahead and get started. Yeah, I'm trying to figure out what part I skipped last time.
I think it was like a slide or two after.
We did cover this.
We did do this one. Joe.
No, that's what Joe. So
Why Joe?
Why Joe?
You have something against Joe?
Yes.
Oh, what?
He's better. I had a friend named Joe.
So we talked about chmod,
Yeah, go for it.
users, etc file, how to become root.
This.
Okay,
Was that it?
how to become root. So I'm talking about root.
No, we didn't talk about it.
We'll start here. We'll start at root because I know it's somewhere in here.
Okay.
We don't have too many slides left, so that can be easy. So just welcome back. Hopefully you've gotten started on your assignment. If not, at least start virtualizing. If you have trouble virtualizing, come talk to me. I'll see if I can help you out.
Start with my issue.
All done.
But let's go ahead and finish up these slides so we can jump into the next. First off, root. Did we talk about why root is so special?
Because you can do anything when you're root.
Right, when you're root, it literally will never authenticate you to do anything because you are root. You just are allowed to do whatever you want. To become root, su space tac space root or dash. Tac and dash will be used interchangeably. And then they'll ask you for the root password, and then you can become root. So
How do you set up a root password?
that's what happens when you initially install the operating system. It will usually ask you for a root password. If it does not, give me 1 minute, and I will tell you what else you do. So if you want to become root, you do su-root, ask you for the root password, and now I'm root. Notice it starts with root. At Shiloh, my computer, I'm in my root's home directory, and I have a pound sign, which tells me that I am actually root or super user. PWD, I'm in root. Root's home directory is almost always /root. Now, if you installed your operating system and you did not put in a root password, they are probably using something called sudo. And what sudo does is that you can basically allow certain users to run root commands if they type in their password again. So, for example, normally I cannot do touch root A, permission denied, because I'm not root. I'm not allowed to do that. But if I go ahead of it and do sudo touch root, since on my machine Quest has been added to the sudoers file, all I have to do is put in my password, not the root's password, but my password, and it'll allow me to run a command as root. And there, it actually touched it. If I were to become root and do an ls-la, A has been created right there. Ooh, I have some other stuff. All right. Now, why is that handy? Well, the good old trick or hack here that you'll see all the time is do sudo, which allows you to run any command afterwards as root, and then you run the command su-root, which makes you root. So AKA, you're going to run the following command as root, which is just to make you root.
Cheat.
Right. Now, sudo did not ask me for the password again because it has a timeout. It only asks for the password every couple of minutes.
Fun fact, you can't see your password as you type it.
Yes.
She had to figure that out.
Oh, yes.
Yeah. She's like, why is it making
It's not an asterisk.
She just held down the backspace. Yeah, I held down the backspace. I was like, I don't know. I was like, it doesn't show up.
One of my favorite passwords, the guy said, yeah, I got so tired of it, I just changed my password to 6 asterisks. So I can copy and paste it no matter what.
Or not just a message.
Thanks, guys. Good job. Morning.
Good job, team.
Oh, wait, you're late.
Oh,
Story
this
time.
lecture?
No, well, story time.
Tell about the monkeys.
You gotta
Tell
tell us
about the
why
monkeys.
you're late.
Tell us why you're late.
Oh, he may not know about this. Yeah, you know about this, don't you?
No.
Oh, if you're late, you have to tell me why. And I'm not so particular in the truth as a good story.
That's more story time.
Wow, that's going to be a lot. You had to bring Carla?
Yeah.
What happened, Carla?
We got a new policy. If you're late, oh wait, Carla's not in this class right now.
I'm so bad at story. I am too.
But Stephanie has still
Better get good at
You
it.
didn't go, visit Mexico real quick, had to do something important with your family, jump right back. Come on.
Yeah.
And your plane just landed 15 minutes
I
ago?
was sleepwalking. She and I ended up in my neighbor's house, and then it just got.
It got really, really weird.
No, she landed the plane herself on the reflection.
Oh, yeah.
One of those water planes.
Yeah, it could be a pilot. Okay.
Yes.
All right, so that's basically how you trick is becoming root. So if you never set up a root password on your machine, just type in this command at the prompt and just type in your password again, and you'll become root.
How do you find out what the root password was?
You can't really, but when you're root, you can always type in password root and change your root password. It'll just ask you for the new root, your new password.
It turns red.
Oh wait, password unchanged. Let me actually set it correctly so I don't mess myself up. There we go.
Does anyone know if there's chapel today?
There is none.
No.
March 1st. It's the first chapel.
Yeah, y'all don't have to go to chapel. I have to go to a faculty meeting.
Oh, rap.
Wait, is password root and
What,
then
you guys go to a meeting? Or from
So sudo su-root. Oh, it's got. Now I'm root. You can just do password root, and then once you hit enter, it's going to ask you for your new root password that you want to set up.
oh, there we go.
All right, login process. This is actually not too important for this class. You'll need to know it, especially when you take operating systems. Hopefully they'll refresh you on this. Login prompts for username. If there is no etc, no login file, user root's a warning message. All right, blah, blah, blah. So you have etc user TTY. All right, TTY is teletypewriter, which sounds old, but that's because it is. Keep in mind that Unix came out around 1970, so your terminals or your monitor was a little different than what you have right now. And a lot of times it could actually just be a typewriter. What there was a teletypewriter, so an electronic one, which is basically just a console that can display characters. And that's really all they had in the beginning.
In the beginning.
In the beginning.
In the beginning, there was a typewriter.
It really was your whole screen just looked like what that box was when I popped up, except it asked you for your username and password, and it really only had one color on a black background. Although on the monitors, you could switch a lot of times between green and amber. Oh yeah, getting fancy there.
How do you change the colors?
You can look up a bash, change a color scheme, and it'll tell you how to edit your bash RC file, just set it up for you. So system will prompt your password, check against the encrypted password etc shadow. If you don't successfully log in, it actually logs your activity. And actually any good secure system will basically log everything you do in a file that really it'll be very hard to delete. Yes, secure. And a more secure system. And your shell is your starting point, which is also an etc password. There we go. And that's basically which shell you want to use. So if I do a cat on etc password, you'll notice that, do I have Quest? Let me go ahead and just grep Quest. There we go. My default shell is bash. There are other ones. For example, there's sh, which kind of looks like a shorter version of bash. A lot more difficult to use. Let's see, do I see sh installed? No. There's csh, zsh, there's ksh. There's all sorts of other shells. So the shell is actually the program that's running when you log in with the terminal.
How do you find out what shell you're using?
Ooh. I think it's env.
Asking all the tough questions today.
I think it's env, and does that actually tell me? It does. Oh, so you can go echo shell.
Is that just a line?
So let me go ahead and clear and start this over. env in general will tell you what your environment is. I'm going to go ahead and pipe that to less so we can see the entire output. Has a ton of information that probably is not useful to you. But right here you have, xterm shell is bin bash. My user's Quest. I have a bunch of colors. Icon, and a bunch of other stuff that's pretty much useless for you, but that's okay. So env will tell you. Quota. Quota is just, actually it's probably being used less than, well no, it's still in use. Basically it's how much disk space you're allowed to use. That way if at least someone goes rogue, they can't fill up the entire hard drive from the home directory. Most things, but on my machine I probably have no quota. Yeah, command not found. I don't believe in quotas.
You typed it wrong.
I did. Still doesn't exist. All right, and then we talked about text editors and Lab 01. All right, one last thing. I remember someone's brought to my attention that I didn't talk about in class. I think it was one of the later problems in the lab. Is how do you find out the number of what users are on your machine? Now, there's two things here. What the lab is not asking you are the number of possible users, which are in Etsy password, and that's over here on the left, SSH, RT kit. Ooh, that sounds, I have a root kit, awesome. Oh no, it's a real-time kit. Okay. Sane, Debian, all these are the users. That's not actually what the question is asking. It's asking what are the number of, or the current users logged in. To find out or to get a list of the current users logged in, you type in the command users. And it looks like I am logged in 5 times.
That sounds good.
That's fine.
Oh, it is?
Yeah, that's perfectly fine. Well, it's probably because I have 5 terminals, plus, well, 4 terminals plus the Windows manager. So I got a terminal here, got a terminal up there, got a terminal over here, that's 3. And I probably have a terminal right there, so that's 4 terminals, and then my actual login's my 5th login. So yeah, that makes sense. If I were to bring up another terminal, and then type in users again, oh no, there's 6 of them. And if someone else had SSH into my machine, that would be even another user. Whoa. So the question is, how do you get those users and how do you sort them? How do you sort something in Unix? Someone just take a guess.
It automatically does it?
No, of course not. Linux will never do it for you. But if you had to write a program that sorted something, what would you call it?
Algorithm?
Sort. Yep.
I would call it sort.
Man sort. Ooh.
Sort lines of text files. Great.
Sort
So you can use sort
You guys can
Sort
clear
that.
and tell how and this will actually sort something for you. So please look up how sort works. Part of this lab is being able to research a little and use it and be able to use it on your own. All right. All right, and that should conclude everything from this lab, because we talked about text editors and we talked about Lab 01. Great. So let me go and